Today I'm going to show you two simple ways on how to master the Morph effect to smoothly transform anything in After Effects. First we'll start off with morphing different icons, and after we'll level up by morphing different text. So let's waste no more time, play the intro and get straight into the video.
What will you do if I am infected? Cure me?
So when we first load into After Effects, we want to first create a new comp. These are my settings if you're curious, and then import your icons. I'm first going to show you how to morph shapes real quick, because if you can morph shapes, you have a good idea on how to morph just about anything. So with the rectangle tool, I'm going to first make an even rectangle by holding down shift click drag, which of course looks like a square, and now I'm going to come to the side, scroll down to a line and click on it. Now before I make a new shape, I'm going to come down and click away, deselecting the rectangle tool, and now make a new shape layer with a circle, doing the same thing, shift click and drag. So now when we notice our shape layers and contacts, it tells us what is happening. In Eclipse, it tells us more information, and we went to an Eclipse path 1, right click and convert it into a Bezier path. Same thing with rectangle, scroll down, rectangle 1, rectangle path 1, click, right click and convert into a Bezier path. Now all we want to do is with the paths we just added with the title path 1 is open both of them up with the drop down menu of paths, select the stopwatch tool to add a keyframe and move the timeline needle forward. Now all we want to do is copy and paste the path of the ellipse and paste it into the path of the rectangle, and for example purposes I'm going to take this keyframe of the rectangle and I'm going to paste it into the ellipse. Since I am now done with the second layer, I'm going to hide it, and when I move the timeline needle you can see that we do have a morph, but it is sliding over just a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to fix this. Slide your mouse to the shape layer and click Shift P. A drop down menu transform will appear. Go to position, drag your timeline tool to the next keyframe, and we're going to, like we did in the beginning, click the align tool so it's stationary from its beginning position. Now to smooth everything out, I'm going to select all keyframes, click F9, move the timeline back to the beginning, and now you can see this is our final result. And if you want it the other way around, of course I don't want to bore you, so I'm going to speed this up, but if you have the keyframes already set, it's as simple as just adding the positioning, and this is the final result the other way around. But of course shapes are boring, so let's move over to icons. So make a new composition and import your icons. I promise this small intro for morphing will make sense in a second, but what I like to do starting out, select all my logos and paste it in my composition. I'm going to click S, the scale tool, to resize everything. Everything's around the same size, so I'm just going to make it smaller, and now I'm going to clean everything up by clicking U on the layers. Now I'm going to auto trace each icon one by one, and we'll show you how to auto trace correctly. So if I go to layers, scroll down to auto trace and go straight to clicking OK, you'll notice I have a ton of points that look ugly, and we do not want that. So to fix this, I'm going to click Ctrl Z to undo, go back to auto trace menu and set pixels before auto trace and tolerance to 10, and now click OK. And as you can see, we have a lot simpler auto trace that will give us a way cleaner morph in the long run. Also, I'm going to speed up, but I'm going to do this to each icon as well. So just keep passing through the layers, applying the auto trace. When everything comes out the way you like it, add a shape layer by going to the layer panel, right click, scroll to new and click shape layer. Now we're going to open up the drop down menu of the shape layer, and in context we're going to add a path, and after we're going to add a fill. Also to change the fill color, just go down to the fill 1 drop down menu and change to where it literally says color. I'm going to set mine to white, keeping it simple, and I'm going to click OK. Now just close everything up. To be quick, click U on the shape layer, and now we're going to duplicate, Ctrl D the same amount of shape layers to the same amount of icons, and put the shape layers next to each icons and rename everything so we're a little bit more organized. When done, it should look a little bit like this. Now I'm going to go one by one, converting the auto trace into a shape path, starting with Nike. So open contents and open path 1. I now want to go to the Nike icon and open the mask by clicking M and copy and paste the correct color coded mask into the shape path 1 path. Ctrl C is to copy, Ctrl P is to paste, and now we want to open the transform menu right below fill, scroll to scale, scale it down to clean everything up, delete the old layer and click U on the shape layer, and now we are done. I'm going to do the same thing with the Jordan icon. For the Jordan icon, everything is the same, so I'm going to speed through here because I don't want to waste your time, but the Apple icon's a little different with one extra step that I really want to quickly point out. When I come to the shape layer for Apple, obviously I only have one path, but when I come to the Apple original layer, I have yes 3 masks, but 2 of them are tracing separate parts of the Apple icon I need. So to transfer both of the masks, I'm going to add an extra path by add and path, and now I'm just going to copy and paste both the correct color coded masks into the shape layer paths. Once I have the mask transferred into paths, it really doesn't matter which order. Go to transfer, scale it down, clean it up by clicking U on the layer, and delete the original Apple layer. The same process is for beats, so of course I'll speed everything up, and you want to get to an end result to only seeing the shape layers with the icon with all the paths keyframes set at the beginning. Now all I'm going to do is copy and paste the paths of Apple, Jordan, and Nike into the beats paths while moving my timeline ahead every time I want to copy and paste a new path. And if for example example, there's only one path like Jordan and Nike, just input that one path for both inputs of the beats path and the final result should look something like this. But remember, yes, it's a clean morph, but we gotta add some positioning so it's not sliding around. So come to the shape layer, click Shift P for position to pop up, and just like the shape intro, go to the keyframe and use the align tool to set each morph in its set position. I'm going to click F9 to smooth out the keyframes, and your final result should look something like this. But let's say you don't like the morphing effect in that particular order and you want to change things up by starting off, for example, the Jordan logo that only starts off with one path. All you would do is add an extra path by going to add in path, move the timeline back to the beginning, activate the new path by starting the stopwatch, and you're just going to copy and paste all the other keyframes like you did previously, and I'm going to speed things up, but your final results look something like this. I do want to say that if you made it this far into the video, you are officially awesome. And now we're going to move over to text. It's a very similar concept with a few extra steps. So go ahead and make a new composition and type in 2 words that you would like to morph. The 2 words I'm going to do is thank you. It's also a good idea to just duplicate the text layer, Ctrl D, and type in the word over the other one and scale it and align it so everything is right next to each other. Now we're going to come back to the text layer, right click, go to create and create shapes from text. Do this for the other one as well. And now we're going to delete both original text layers. Go ahead and make sure the first word is on the top layer, and when you open the context you can see every letter already has paths added to them, with some letters with 2 paths. And for this morph I'm going to put TH into Y, AN into O, and K into U, so you have a good idea on what I'm going for. Now to start things off, we're going to go to the letter path, which for me is T. Have the timeline needle set to the beginning, click the stopwatch activating the keyframe, and now we're going to do this for every single letter. So yes, I'm going to speed up through this because once everything is activated and ready to go, it's literally playing a game of connect the dots. When finished, we are going to move the timeline needle forward, come up to the first letter T, open T's path, and now we want to scroll all the way down to Y, open the Y path up and copy it, scroll back up to T and paste it into the T path, and with a quick preview you can see it is now morphing and this letter is now done. I'm just going to zoom in so you can get a better view when lining things up. Make sure blue dot is on, meaning you're on the right keyframe. Now close this up and go to the next letter, which for me it is H. For H, it's the same process. Go down to Y, Ctrl C Copy, Ctrl V Paste, and when I move the timeline you can see that now both the letters are morphing. Make sure the blue light is on for being on the right keyframe. Close up H and now go to letter A, and if you notice, A has 2 paths, and if we scroll down to our next letter O, O also has 2 paths, which makes this a 2 on 2, and there's just one extra step that we're going to add to this I'm going to explain. So first go ahead and copy and paste the path the same way we've been doing it into the A location, and as you can see the O looks normal, but that's because its merge path is here. It's subtracting the inner circle for O and the inner triangle for A, but not every letter has this, so to force this to happen I would want to add a merge path. But as you can see, if I just add a merge path it goes to a random location, so to prevent this always click the second path of the letter and then add the merge path after, and it'll pop up in the right location. Now I'm going to hide the first merge path, and with my second merge path in mode I now have full control of adding and subtracting the path to give it the shape of the letter that I'm looking for when morphing, and this works for any scenario. The reason why I'm explaining this here is because the next letter I literally have to do this from how it's set up, so I'm going to close this out, go to N, and as you can see N has 1 path with no merge paths, and when I scroll down to O it has 2 paths with 1 merge path, making this a 2 on 1. So first I want to add a path, but make sure the N first path is selected so it goes to the right location. Next add the starting keyframe. Of course bring the timeline to the beginning first and then bring it back. You can use the previous letters to help guide you. Now what we're going to do is copy and paste the O path into the N path because there is space for both of them now, but as you can see the O inner circle is now not subtracting. To fix this, remember have the second N path selected, add a merge path, and all I'm going to do is in the mode where I now have full control of the path, so I'm going to click subtract, and now the O is now fixed. To finalize everything, the last letter is K and U, which is both just a simple 1 on 1 because they both have 1 path. It's just as simple as copying and pasting the U into the K path. When done with connecting the paths, it's kind of hard making adjustments in the space to the keyframe, so what I'm going to do is scroll to the top, click on the shape layer, click U, and all the keyframes will pop up. You can do whatever you want from here, but I'm just going to select all of them, F9 eases them, and this is my final result. Anyways, that's just about everything. As you can see, there are endless ways to use the morph effect to transform just about anything in 2D. If you'd like to know how to transform anything in 2D into 3D, watch the next video on the screen. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so I can continue on making more content like this. And remember, I am Ferg, and I'll see you in the next one.